And new details about the suspect charged in the deaths of 4 University of Idaho students 7 weeks ago. CNN has learned that Brian Kohberger's father was with him as he drove cross-country from Washington State to Pennsylvania. Police were tracking him the entire time. The suspect's lawyer speaking to CNN about the 4 murder counts his client is facing.
He's doing okay. He's shocked a little bit. Obviously, he's calm right now. We don't really know much about the case.
Now, your client is highly educated, very intelligent. He has to appreciate the seriousness of what is happening right now.
Oh, absolutely. He is very intelligent. In my hour conversation with him, that comes off. I can tell that. And he understands where we are right now.
Investigators honed in on Kohberger by tracking his car and through DNA evidence, according to law enforcement sources. CNN's Veronica Miracle has more on the relief that many are feeling in Idaho.
There has been such a sense of relief in this community now that the suspect has been arrested. Of course, it doesn't change the fact that 4 gruesome murders took place in this seemingly safe town, in this rural college community. But now that there has been an arrest, we have heard from people who just feel such relief. In fact, one business owner came by here to the Moscow Police Department to drop off a gift. He was so grateful. He says this community, of course, has been impacted emotionally. Everyone has been on edge for the last 7 weeks. But it's also impacted the economy. He's a business owner and his employees are students, as are most of the businesses in this town. There's other businesses who've been impacted where students have left because they just don't feel safe being in this city, and so they've been studying virtually. And so now so many people are hoping that this community comes back together when students come back to class in the next couple of weeks. In terms of the Moscow Police Department, there's been a lot of criticism over the last 7 weeks because they did not release hardly any information. And every time we would ask why that was, they said they wanted to protect the integrity of the investigation. There were no leaks from this small department, and they kept all of their information close. They say that they are glad that they did that. The police chief saying he wouldn't change a thing. And in fact, he is receiving apologies now. Here's what he had to say.
A few of them have sent me emails, some apologizing. We're a pretty humble group here, and we know that people are going to be watching what we're doing, and some of that is criticism, and we have a job to do. We continue to do it, and it does feel good to we held everything close for a long time, and we did it for the reason that we've stated, and I think the end result here proves to a lot of people that maybe it was exactly done right.
Brian Kohberger remains in Pennsylvania right now, but he has an extradition hearing coming this Tuesday. His public defender has told CNN that he is going to waive his right to that extradition hearing, and so he could be back in this state as early as Tuesday. I asked the police chief how long that process will take. He says it could be a couple of days. It could be as early as Tuesday. When he arrives back here, he will go to the Latah County Jail. Veronica Miracle, CNN, Moscow, Idaho.
Joining me now, Mary Ellen O'Toole, a former senior FBI profiler and former FBI special agent. All right, Mary Ellen, we learned that the suspect traveled with his father cross-country from Washington State, the Washington State-Idaho border, to Pennsylvania after the crime happened. So hearing that, what's the first question that you have here?
Well, obviously, the first question is, did the father know anything? And at this point, we don't know. The father certainly could be in a position where he just wanted to help his son travel 2,500 miles, thought it would be easier to have company in the car and know nothing about what happened. So that still remains to be seen. What, if anything, the dad knew?
And police have been very tight-lipped about whether this alleged criminal knew the victims. So what would you be looking into to start to dig into that question?
I'd start to look at, and I know that they are looking at this, from social media to casual contacts that the offender, in this case the suspect, had with these victims. And it could be very minor. It doesn't have to be an ongoing contact where they meet for coffee or they go out to dinner. It doesn't have to be anything that formal. It can be a very casual contact that is made. And to the victims, it would have been like, yeah, I think I saw him walking down the street. But to the offender, in this case the suspect, It could have been far more significant to include developing what we call intelligence on the victim, finding out what they're about, how they walk, what they say, what their voice sounds like. So the investigators are going to be looking for formal contacts, but also very, very informal contacts.
And if you were in a room with him, sitting across from him, what kind of questions would you be asking him at this point in the investigation?
You know what? That's such a great question. And I would not be asking him any questions. I would simply be in there and I would be listening. And I would ask him to tell me about himself. Tell me about everything about you. Tell me about what makes you tick. Tell me about what you're studying. Tell me why you're interested in the criminal mind. And then I would listen. I would not be asking questions.
Mary Ellen O'Toole, great insight. Thank you.